I chose to enlist to get because I didn't want to go do a job that I didn't want to do.
I was drafted into the Army. At that time, the only voluntary services were the Marines, the Navy, and the Air Force. If you was drafted, you was automatically sent to the Army.
It was probably the best decision that I possibly ever could have made in my life. Because the Marine Corps provided a foundation of moral and ethics and also physical attributes. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I was probably in the best shape of my life.
I was just a typical American that wanted to go and take care of my country.
I was 16, and most of all my friends were in that range. So we forged our birth certificates. The Korean War broke out. We all joined the paratroopers. Dominic says to me, let's join the paroopers. I said, what's the paroopers? He says, the paratroopers. He says, you nuts? He says, we're all Navy men. That's all. We all went to the old post office. We all enlisted.
When I came home, it was kind of expectations that your family have of you. You know, they sent you away as one person. You came back as a grown man, as another person. War, sometimes there are unintended consequences of war. PTSD and the things that go with it, because most of the things we do is against our cultural beliefs, but we have to do it because of our duties to our country and to our Constitution. Well, the transition into the military, I felt that it was a badge of honor because after going through basic training, AIT, and finally jump school, I felt stronger as a person, and I felt like I was a warrior of sort. And so there was a sense of pride. Coming out of the military and after going to Vietnam and spending 13 months there, I felt pretty much good about it until I got back to the States, and then they started spitting on us and all of the things they said to us about being baby killers. So that made my adjustment period kind of difficult.
I like to call it the Rambo syndrome. Like, you get out of the military feeling useful and like you were a part of something, and then you come home and people don't realize that when you miss that structure that it's a big difference in your life. You feel kind of useless, like you're not worth anything. I go from working on $1 million communication equipment to working at a fast food place making minimum wage. It's definitely a shock, and if you don't know how to deal with it or try to find ways to deal with it, you take it out on yourself or physically. Like I decided to turn to drinking, and it didn't do me any good.
At Veterans Day, we have Memorial Day, and in most cases people just look at that as a day to get off work, and they don't really understand the real meaning and the sacrifice and the dedication that people have that go into the military.
I came back home and I got married. I still wasn't ready, transitionalized to be married. I still had the chip on my shoulder for being in Vietnam.
In 2007, I started going to the VA, and they started dealing with me with post-traumatic stress. And then I saw how combat had affected my life, but other than that, I have no regrets at all.
I didn't think I had problems just like anybody else. I didn't know where I should go or if I should go anywhere. But the second time I actually got drunk, wrecked my car, and almost killed myself and one of my friends. So that was a real culture shock and just an overall shock to myself. If it wasn't for the VA and me getting help, I'd probably be in jail.
So many of your friends and your comrades, they lost their lives. And then the question becomes, why did I survive? And what do this mean that I survived? What purpose do my life have, or what should I be doing now? Since I did survive, and to justify, the death of people that you cared for and people that you knew.
Go see your VA counselors. They'll take care of you.
I would say to any veteran, if they was in the military is very much aware, even of the training that we receive, how it changed our lives. And they have people in place that are willing and able to help people, because once you come back to civilian life and you have to deal with people that don't have that experience, then you feel let down because you've been accustomed to depending on your comrades, depending on your peers and your fellow soldiers, and they had the same feeling towards you. But when you come back and find that life and death is not a situation that you live with in civilian life, it's very difficult to adjust.
6 of us all together from South Buffalo. I'm the only one to come back. I was wounded a couple times, decorated, and that's all I want to talk about. Korea. I don't want to get into any combat stuff. I lost all my best friends, and I lost my son.
I was having post-traumatic stress syndrome. I didn't realize it. Everything seemed like it was going downhill. I spent 5 years in Chillicothe, Ohio in a penitentiary because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That really snapped me around, because when you're taken out of society for 5 years, it's quite a change when you got to get back into it again. Yeah, it was pretty tough. Seen friends die, picked up body parts of friends of mine. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I would never give back any 1 minute of being in the military. It showed me the world. It taught me how to be the person I am today. But it was quite a culture shock. It was my first time away from home for a long period of time. They break you down in boot camp and build you back up. So it was definitely a shock for me.
That was the first time I was away from home. I was only 18. First time I was away from home, and without parents or on a camping trip or something like that. But I was away. I was on my own. I grew up fast.
I enjoyed my time of service. I think I learned a lot. I think I grew up a lot, and I have no regrets at all. If I was young enough, I would join again.